Dawoon stood in line at Gateway Station, holding his travel papers with both hands. The papers were made of something that felt like plastic, but moved like water. He did not understand how it worked. He only knew that if he lost them, he could not enter the galaxy. The immigration center was the largest building Dawoon had ever seen. The ceiling stretched so high that clouds formed inside the building. Lights that had no source floated in the air like small suns. Everything moved with perfect order. Everything was clean. Everything was silent except for the soft humming sound that came from the walls and the floor. Dawoon was from Earth, a small planet that many beings in the galaxy had forgotten about. He was here to work as a document keeper on Kepler 442b. It was a simple job. The pay was good. It would let him help his family back home. That was all he cared about. He stood in QC7. Around him, creatures of every shape and size waited patiently. Some of them floated. Some of them moved on legs that looked like sticks. One creature seemed to be made entirely of light. Another looked like a pile of rocks that could think. Dawoon tried not to stare at them. He knew that staring was rude. His mother had taught him that on Earth, and it seemed like good advice even here. His mind was thinking about his new home on Kepler 442b. He had heard that the planet was very cold and very dry. The sky was always purple. The gravity was slightly stronger than Earth's gravity. He wondered if he would be able to walk without falling down. He wondered if the other workers would be kind to him. He wondered if he would miss Earth. Because he was thinking about these things, Dawoon was not paying attention to where his feet were going. The queue moved forward slightly. Everyone took one step. Dawoon took one step, but he did not notice that the person in front of him had only half-stepped. So when Dawoon moved forward, his boot came down on the foot of the person ahead of him. The person was a woman. She turned around quickly. Her face was angry. Her eyes were narrow. Dawoon could see that she was human, just like him. This made him more nervous. He wanted to apologize to anyone, but apologizing to another human made it feel more real, more like he had truly done something wrong. "I am very sorry," Dawoon said quickly. "I was not looking. My apologies to you." The woman did not say anything back. Instead, she grabbed Dawoon's entire upper body with just one hand. Her fingers wrapped around his chest and his shoulders. She lifted him up off the ground as if he weighed almost nothing. Dawoon was lifted more than 1 meter into the air. His feet dangled below him. He could feel her fingers pressing against his ribs. It did not hurt exactly, but it was not comfortable. It was like being held by a machine that could decide to squeeze him flat at any moment. "You step on my foot and say sorry?" the woman said. Her voice was sharp and clear. "You think that is enough?" "I am sorry," Dawoon said again. He did not know what else to say. "I did not mean to." The woman's name was Mina. She was from Earth, too, but from a different part. She had been waiting in this line for 3 hours. Her feet hurt. Her back hurt. She had been pushed and bumped by travelers all morning. And now this man, this clumsy man from her own world, had stepped on her foot like she was nothing. Minna was angry, angrier than she had been in a long time. "Next time, watch where you put your feet," Minna said. She did not put Dawoon down. She held him there, suspended in the air, making a point with her body language, making him understand that she was not someone to be ignored. That was when the scanners turned on. The security system at Gateway Station had been designed 10,000 years ago. It was one of the most advanced systems in the entire galaxy. It could read the genetic code of any creature from 50 meters away. It could tell if a being was sick, infected, or dangerous. It could detect weapons hidden inside the body. It could predict violence before it happened. The scanners worked by measuring energy. They measured the electrical signals in the brain. They measured the heat of the body. They measured the strength of the muscles. They measured everything. When Minna lifted Dawoon with one hand, all of the scanners turned on at once. The lights changed from blue to red. A low noise began, very deep and very loud. It hurt Dawoon's ears. It made his teeth hurt. The noise grew louder and louder. Every camera in the immigration center pointed at Minna and Dawoon. Every scanner focused on them. Every alarm in the building began to sound. Minna put Dawoon down carefully on the ground. Her anger was gone now, replaced with fear. She understood what the alarms meant. She understood what the scanners were saying. The scanners were saying that she was dangerous. Other beings in the queue moved away from them. Some ran. Some moved to the sides of the room. The creatures that floated moved up toward the ceiling to get away. The pile of rocks that could think rolled itself toward the exit. In just 10 seconds, Minna and Dawoon were alone in a circle of empty space. Everyone else had moved away from them. Everyone else was afraid. A voice came from above. It was calm and kind, but it carried authority. The voice came from the station's computer system. The computer spoke in 100 different languages at the same time, but Minna and Dawoon only heard the English version. Attention. Unidentified life form detected. Threat level, extreme. Security protocols activated. Do not move. Remain in place. Help is coming. Dawoon looked at Minna. Minna looked at Dawoon. Neither of them understood what was happening. They were just two humans. They were not weapons. They were not dangerous. They were just two people waiting in line at an immigration center. But the scanners did not believe this. The scanners had never seen humans before. The scanners did not have any information about humans. To the scanners, Minna lifting Dawoon was the same as a mountain moving by itself. It was the same as gravity stopping working. It was the same as reality breaking. The scanners decided that whatever Minna was, it was not safe for other beings to be near her. The scanners marked her with the worst warning they could give. Unsafe. Species-level threat. Recommend immediate containment. Dawoon felt his heart beating very fast. He could hear it in his ears. He could feel it in his chest. He had come to the galaxy to make a better life. He had come to the galaxy for a simple job and a simple future. Instead, he had come to the galaxy to become a suspect, to become something strange, to become something the galaxy's most advanced computers thought was dangerous. Security drones were already moving toward them from every direction. Their weapons systems were warming up. The immigration center was about to become something very different. Everything had changed in just one moment. Everything had changed because Dawoon stepped on Minna's foot, and Minna held him up in anger, and the scanners measured something they could not understand. Everything had changed because two humans did something that the galaxy had never seen before. The security drones surrounded Minna and Dawoon before they could even think about running. The drones were small, about the size of a human head, but each one had weapons that could burn a hole through metal. The drones did not speak. They simply pointed their weapons at the two humans and waited for orders. Station Controller Kavex entered the immigration center walking slowly and carefully. Kavex was a being made of crystal. Its body reflected light in many colors. Kavex had worked at Gateway Station for 500 years. Kavex had seen 10,000 different species arrive and leave. Kavex had never seen anything like this before. Kavex spoke in 17 different frequencies at the same time. Some sounds were high, some sounds were low, some sounds were not sounds at all, but vibrations that moved through the air and made beings feel emotions. The computer translated Kavex's words into English for the two humans. "Release the specimen," the computer said in a calm voice. Minna looked down and realized she was still holding something in her hand. She had forgotten that she had picked up Dawoon's travel papers when he fell. She had done this without thinking. She had done this because she wanted to help him. Now she understood that this made her look guilty. This made her look like she was stealing from him. She opened her hand and let the papers fall to the ground. They floated down slowly, like leaves in the wind. "I was not going to hurt him," Minna said. "I was just angry." Kvex did not respond to this. Instead, Kvex pointed one crystal arm at Dawoon. The scanners turned on again, but this time they scanned only Dawoon. They read every part of his body. They read his skin. They read his bones. They read his blood. They read his brain. The scanning lasted for 3 minutes. It felt much longer to Dawoon. It felt like being taken apart and put back together again, piece by piece. When the scanning finished, a new message appeared on every screen in the immigration center. The message was written in the scientific language that all beings in the galaxy understood, even though it looked like math and symbols to humans. The computer translated it into English. Subject identified as baseline human. Origin planet Earth. No genetic modifications detected. No cybernetic enhancements detected. No artificial improvements of any kind detected. Classification, Class E biological entity. Threat level, standard harmless. Then Kvex pointed at Minna. The scanners turned on again. This time the scanning lasted longer. 5 minutes, then 10 minutes. Minna could see that something was wrong. The scanners kept moving, kept looking, kept searching for something they could not find. When the scanning finally stopped, a different message appeared on the screens. Subject identified as baseline human. Origin planet, Earth. Genetic structure identical to previously scanned human. No modifications detected, no enhancements detected. However, muscle fiber density exceeds biological parameters by 412%. Skeletal structure does not match observed strength. Cardiovascular system shows no apparent reason for observed abilities. Scanning error suspected. Repeat scan recommended. The scanners turned on a third time. This time they scanned Min A's entire body slowly, carefully, looking for anything that might explain what she could do. But there was nothing to find. When the third scan was finished, Kvex turned to look at both of them. Kvex was silent for a long time. This silence meant that Kvex was thinking very hard about something. Kvex was trying to understand something that did not make sense. "Both subjects are human," Kvex finally said. "Both subjects come from the same planet. Both subjects show identical genetic codes. Yet Subject 2 has physical abilities that should be impossible. I do not understand how this is possible." 2 scientists came into the immigration center. One of them was a being made of gases. The other was a being that looked like a tree that could walk. The gas being held a device that looked like a tube made of light. The tree being held many different instruments in its branches. "We will take them to the research center," the gas being said. "We will study them. We will find answers." Minna and Dawoon were taken to a place deep inside Gateway Station. The walls were made of a material that looked like glass but was stronger than steel. The air smelled strange, like electricity and chemicals mixed together. They were separated into different rooms. Minna was in one room. Dawoon was in another. They could not see each other, but they could hear each other's voices if they spoke loudly. For days, they were tested again and again. Scientists came from all different species. Each one wanted to understand how Minna could be so strong. Each one wanted to find the secret that made her different. They took her blood. They took her hair. They took her skin cells. They used machines that made strange sounds to look inside her body. They made her run on a machine that measured how fast she could move. They made her lift weights to see how heavy something had to be before she could not lift it anymore. The weights got heavier and heavier. The scientists kept expecting her to fail, but she never did. She kept lifting. She kept pushing. She kept showing them that she could do things that should have been impossible. Dawoon was also tested, but the tests were different. The scientists wanted to understand why he was normal. They wanted to find the difference between him and Minna. But he was completely normal. His tests showed nothing unusual. His tests showed exactly what humans from Earth should look like. But Min-Ah was not normal, and no one could explain why. In the room where Min-Ah was being tested, a young scientist came to see her. His name was Hae-Il. He was from the methane clouds of Titan, a moon very far away from Earth. Hae-Il was young and curious. Hae-Il wanted to understand the truth about Min-Ah. "I need to ask you something," Hae-Il said, "and I need you to tell me the truth. Why are you so strong? What makes you different from other humans?" Min-Ah thought about this question for a long time. She thought about her life on Earth. She thought about all the hard things she had done. She thought about all the times she had pushed herself to be better and stronger. "I do not know," she finally said. "I was born like this. At least I think I was. I do not remember being weak. I do not remember becoming strong. I just always was strong." Hae-Il wrote this down. He wrote many things down as he listened to Min-Ah talk about her life. He listened to her tell stories about her family on Earth. He listened to her talk about Earth itself, about the weather and the land and the way life had to fight to survive there. The news about Mina and Dawoon spread through the entire galaxy. Every species wanted to know about these strange humans who could do impossible things. Every scientist wanted to study them. Every government wanted to control them. Fear started to grow in the hearts of many beings. If these humans could do this much, what else could they do? Were humans dangerous? Should humans be trusted? Should humans be allowed to enter the galaxy at all? The answer seemed to be no. For the first time in the history of Earth, the entire galaxy was looking at humans. But the galaxy was not looking with kindness. The galaxy was looking with fear. Hae-Il became obsessed with the mystery of Min-Ah and Dawoon. He stopped working on other projects. He stopped sleeping in his quarters. He spent every moment in the research center, looking at data, asking questions, and thinking about the impossible. All of the other scientists had found the same thing. Minna's body did not match what it could do. Her muscles were too strong for their size. Her bones were too resilient for their density. Her heart was strong, but it was not stronger than other hearts. Her lungs were normal. Her blood was normal. Everything about her was normal except for one thing. She was abnormally capable. It made no sense. Hae-Il requested permission to study Earth's history. The request was unusual, but it was approved. He thought that if he understood Earth, he might understand Minna. He thought that the answer might be in the past. He accessed the computer databases and found Earth's records. He read about ice ages. He read about mountains that grew from the ground. He read about creatures that hunted humans. He read about diseases that killed millions. He read about droughts that lasted for years and years. He read about floods that covered entire continents. Earth was a world that tried to kill everything that lived on it. Hae-Il read about human history. He read about wars. He read about famines. He read about epidemics. He read about humans surviving all of these things. He read about humans getting stronger and learning new skills and adapting to every new challenge that Earth threw at them. For millions of years, humans had lived on Earth. For millions of years, humans had survived in a world that was always dangerous. The gravity was different there. The weather was violent there. The food was not always available. Predators hunted humans. Humans hunted each other. And yet humans survived. Humans did not just survive. Humans thrived. Hae-Il understood something then. He understood something that no one else had understood before. He called a meeting with all of the scientists studying Min-A and Dawoon. There were 40 scientists from 30 different species. They all came to listen to what Hae-Il had discovered. "I think I understand," Hae-Il said. He showed them pictures of Earth. He showed them mountains covered in snow. He showed them deserts with no water. He showed them storms and earthquakes and volcanoes. "Earth is a very difficult place to live," Hae-Il continued. "The environment changes quickly. The weather is unpredictable. Food is not always easy to find. Predators are dangerous. Humans had to adapt to all of these challenges. But they did not adapt the way we thought evolution worked, HFY said. They did not become specialized. They did not become perfect for one specific environment. Instead, they became adaptable. They became flexible. They became able to survive in many different situations. HFY pointed to Mina's genetic code on the screen. Look at her muscles. They have multiple types of fibers. Some are for speed. Some are for strength. Some are for endurance. This should not be efficient, but it makes her able to do many different things. He pointed to Dawoon's genetic code. Look at his skeleton. The bones are slightly porous. This should make them weaker, but it makes them lighter. It makes him able to run longer. It makes him able to survive impacts that would kill other beings. Their cardiovascular system is not optimized for any one task, HFY said. It is designed to handle a wide range of demands. Their nervous system is not specialized. It is designed to process many different types of information at the same time. Humans are not engineered, HFY said. They are not perfect for one thing. They are adequate for many things. They are built to survive, not to excel. One of the scientists, a being made of crystalline structures, asked a question. But if this is true, then why is Mina so much stronger than Dawoon? They should be the same if this is their natural biology. Because strength is not the same as physical ability, HFY said. Mina probably trained herself. On Earth, humans make themselves stronger by using their muscles. They push themselves harder every day. They build strength through effort. But that still does not explain why she can lift Dawoon so easily, the crystalline being said. The weight and the angle should require more force than any human should be able to produce. Perhaps, HFY said slowly, the scanners are wrong about what they are measuring. Perhaps human strength is not what we think it is. Another scientist spoke up. This scientist was from a world where all beings were exactly the same. Are you saying that humans are naturally superior to other species? No, HFY said. I am saying that humans are naturally different. They are built for a different kind of survival. They are not better. They are just different. On Earth, survival means endurance. It means persistence. It means being able to keep going when everything tells you to stop. Other species have evolved for different purposes. Some species are designed for processing information very quickly. Some species are designed for working together perfectly as a unit. Some species are designed for living in environments that would kill humans. But humans are designed for survival under unpredictable conditions. And that is what Earth provided. Unpredictable conditions every single day. The news of HFY's discovery spread through the galaxy very quickly. Scientists who had other species they wanted to understand came forward with new data. Researchers looked at beings they had classified as average and found similar patterns of adaptability. But this created a problem for the galactic hierarchy. For thousands of years, the galaxy had been organized by species classification. Some species were designed to be administrators. Some species were designed to be workers. Some species were designed to be soldiers. Some species were designed to be scholars. This order was based on the idea that some species were simply better at certain things. Some species were stronger. Some species were smarter. Some species were faster. It was accepted as truth. It was accepted as fact. But HFY's discovery suggested something different. It suggested that humans were not better or worse than other species. They were just different. They were built for survival, not for superiority. If this was true, then the whole galactic system was built on a false foundation. Governments began to worry. Corporations began to worry. The beings who held power in the galaxy began to realize that if humans were not inferior, then maybe other supposedly inferior species were not inferior either. Maybe the entire system of hierarchy was wrong. In the immigration center, Mina heard rumors of what Hyle had discovered. She felt something change inside her. She had always known she was strong, but she had not known why. She had not known what it meant. Now she understood. She was strong because Earth had made her strong. She was strong because her ancestors had survived million years on a dangerous world. She was strong because humans refused to specialize and instead had chosen to be able to do anything. Dawoon heard the same news. He felt something change inside him, too. He had always felt small compared to other humans in the galaxy who were enhanced or modified. He had always felt weak compared to the advanced beings. But now he understood. He was not weak. He was just natural. He was what humans were supposed to be like, and that was enough. The galaxy was beginning to understand what humans truly were. But the galaxy was not happy about this understanding. The galaxy had liked it better when humans were unknown. The galaxy had liked it better when humans could be ignored. Now, humans could not be ignored anymore. The decision came 3 weeks after Hyle's presentation to the scientific community. The governments of the collective union held a secret meeting. No scientists were invited. No ordinary beings were allowed to attend. Only the leaders of the most powerful species were present. They made their decision very quickly. They decided that humans were a threat. The logic was simple. If humans could be as strong and capable as other beings without being enhanced, then humans did not need the collective union. Humans could survive on their own. Humans could become independent. Humans could potentially become equal to the established powers. This could not be allowed. The collective union announced that Mina and Dawoon would be transferred to a research facility in the deepest part of collective space. This facility was secret. Few beings had ever been taken there and come back. The official reason was continued study. The real reason was permanent detention. When Hyle heard this announcement, he felt something very strong inside him. It was not anger exactly. It was something stronger than anger. It was the feeling that something fundamentally wrong was about to happen, and he was one of the few beings who could try to stop it. He went to see Mina in her containment cell. The cell was clean. The cell was comfortable. The cell was a prison. "They are going to move you," he said quietly. "Tomorrow night. You will never come back from where they are taking you." Mina looked at him with fear in her eyes. "What do you mean? What happens in that facility?" "I cannot tell you that," Hyle said. "But I know that you need to leave. Both of you. You need to leave right now." "How?" Mina asked. "We are locked in these cells. Security drones surround this facility. We cannot escape." "I can help you," Hyle said. "But you have to trust me. And you have to be willing to run very far and very fast." He gave her a small device that looked like a piece of metal with lights on it. "When I say the word, this will activate a beacon. Follow the signal. It will lead you to a shuttle. The shuttle is my personal vessel. It is fast. It can jump through the relay stations. It can take you far away from here." "Why are you helping us?" Mina asked. Hyle thought about this question. He thought about his entire life. He thought about his work as a scientist. He thought about the discovery he had made. He thought about the truth he had found. "Because they want to bury the truth," he said. "Because the galaxy does not want to know what humans really are. Because I cannot let that happen." That night, Hyle activated a series of events that could never be reversed. He used his security codes to access the detention center's computer. He disabled the locks on both cells. He rerouted all of the security cameras to show images from the previous hour, making it look like Min-Ah and Dawoon were still in their cells. He sent a false alarm to the security personnel. The alarm reported a crisis on the other side of the station. All of the security drones began moving toward that location. The detention center was suddenly empty of guards. The beacon in Minna's device turned on and began to glow. She took Da-Woon's hand and they ran. They ran through corridors they had never seen before. They ran past laboratories and offices. They ran past beings who stared at them in confusion. They did not stop. They did not look back. They only ran toward the beacon's signal. Behind them, alarms began to sound. The guards had realized what was happening. They were chasing them. Weapons were being readied. The entire station was being locked down. But Minna and Da-Woon were faster than anyone expected. They did not run in straight lines like the guards expected. They did not follow the main corridors. They took shortcuts and made turns that seemed random. But Minna was using her senses in a way that the guards could not understand. She was predicting where the guards would be. She was moving in ways that got around them. When a guard stepped in front of them, Minna did not hesitate. She picked up the guard and moved them out of the way. She did not hurt them. She just moved them. She treated them like objects that were in her path, not like enemies. The docking level was where Hay-Il had told them to go. The shuttle was there, exactly where he said it would be. It was a small ship. It was made for one being, not three. But there was no time for better options. Hay-Il was already inside the shuttle when they arrived. His fingers were moving over controls that made lights flash in the cabin. He was preparing the ship for launch. "Get in," he said. "Quickly!" They barely closed the door before the docking area was filled with security forces. Weapons fired at the shuttle. But Hay-Il had already started the engines. The shuttle jumped away from Gateway Station before the weapons could hit it. For a moment, there was nothing but silence and the sound of the engines. Mene sat down heavily in the nearest chair. She was breathing very hard. Da-Woon was staring out the window at Gateway Station, getting smaller and smaller. "What have we done?" Da-Woon asked quietly. "What had to be done?" Hay-Il said. He was typing very fast, making calculations and setting a course. "I have disabled all tracking systems that I could access, but they will find us eventually. We need to jump through the relay stations as quickly as possible." "Where are we going?" Minna asked. "I do not know," Hay-Il admitted. "Somewhere far away, somewhere where the collective union has no power, somewhere we can decide our next move." The shuttle jumped through the first relay station. The sensation was strange, like the entire universe was bending around them. The stars changed position. The station was no longer visible. They jumped through a second station, then a third. Each time the universe rearranged itself. Each time they were further from the place they had come from. But Hay-Il was already planning the next step. He was accessing the communication systems of the shuttle. He was preparing a message that would be sent across every network in the galaxy. "What are you doing?" Minna asked. "I am doing what I should have done at the beginning," Hay-Il said. "I am telling the truth." His fingers moved across the controls. Data flowed into the message. Everything he had discovered about humans. Everything Minna and Da-Woon had shown him. Everything that proved that the collective union was wrong. "Once I send this," Hay-Il said, "there is no going back. I will be wanted. I will be hunted. I will never be able to return to the station or to the methane clouds of Titan." "Do not send it," Da-Woon said. "Not for us. We are not worth that sacrifice." Hay-Il looked at both of them. He looked at these two humans who had done nothing wrong. He looked at this species that the galaxy wanted to destroy because they refused to fit into the established order. "You are worth it," Hay-Il said, and he pressed the button to send the message. The transmission went out across every frequency. It reached every network. It reached every database. It reached every being in the galaxy who had access to information. The truth was now out. The truth could not be hidden anymore. The truth would change everything. The transmission spread through the galaxy faster than light could travel. It moved through quantum networks that connected every corner of known space. It jumped from relay station to relay station. It appeared in research centers and government offices and private communications. It could not be stopped once it was sent. It could not be recalled or deleted. Within the first hour, millions of beings had received the message. Within the first 6 hours, billions of beings had received it. Within the first day, the entire galaxy knew about humans, not just about Min-Ah and Dawoon anymore, about all humans, about Earth, about millions of years of survival, about the truth of what humans really were. The reactions were immediate and varied. Scientists became excited. They wanted to study humans more. They wanted to understand the mechanisms of human adaptation. They wanted to know everything about the biology and history that had created this species. Governments became worried. They called emergency meetings. They argued about how to respond to this new information. Some wanted to send military forces to Earth to occupy the planet. Some wanted to open trade. Some wanted to ignore humans completely. Corporations became interested. They saw potential profits in human strength and adaptability. They wanted to hire humans. They wanted to train humans. They wanted to use humans for dangerous jobs that other beings would refuse to do. The collective union became angry. They blamed Ha'il for the security breach. They blamed him for releasing classified information. They put a bounty on his head. They swore they would find him and bring him to justice. But it was too late. The message was already out. The truth was already spreading. In a research facility on an ice moon, a young scientist from a crystalline species read the information. She had studied other organisms her entire life. She had believed that her species was superior because they could process information faster than any other being. But now she was reading about humans, and she was realizing something. Humans did not process information faster, but they understood things in ways that data and calculations could not show. Humans had wisdom that came from thousands of years of survival. In a military base on a planet with 3 suns, a commander who had always believed that strength came from technology and discipline read about Min-Ah. He read about how one human woman had lifted another human with one hand. He realized that all of his training, all of his weapons, all of his technology might not be enough against a species that had strength built into their very biology. In a library on a station orbiting a black hole, a being who spent all of its time studying history read the message. This being realized that Earth had a history as old as the entire known galactic civilization. Humans had been surviving and building civilizations while other species were still developing. This being realized that humans deserved respect, not fear. The shuttle carrying Min-Ah, Dawoon, and Ha'il jumped through 3 more relay stations. They were now in a part of space where the collective union had little power. They were in the fringe territories, where independent stations and private trading posts were more common than government facilities. "We have to find somewhere to land," Dawoon said. "We cannot stay in this shuttle forever. There is not enough food. There is not enough water." Ha'il looked at a star map. He was searching for a safe place. A place where they could hide. A place where the collective union could not reach them. "There," he said, pointing to a small station near a red star. "Kepler Station. It is an independent station. The collective union has no authority there. We can land safely." The shuttle descended toward the station. Mina looked out at the universe around them. She thought about Earth far below them. She thought about her family and friends. She wondered if she would ever see them again. Dawoon was having different thoughts. He was thinking about the message that Ha'il had sent. He was thinking about how his life had changed in just a few days. He had been ordinary. He had been invisible. Now he was famous. Now he was known across the entire galaxy. The shuttle landed on Kepler Station. The moment they stepped outside, they knew they were safe. The station manager, a being who looked like a tree made of metal, greeted them with respect. "Welcome," the manager said. "We have all received the transmission. We all know who you are. You are welcome here." Over the next several days, Mina and Dawoon tried to understand what was happening. Researchers started arriving at the station. Scientists wanted to meet them. They wanted to ask questions. They wanted to understand humans. But not all of these interactions were about science. Some beings came because they had political reasons for being interested in humans. Some came because they wanted to find a way to use humans for their own purposes. Minnie began to realize that the galaxy was not going to simply accept humans and move on. The galaxy was going to struggle with this new information. The galaxy was going to argue about what humans meant. The galaxy was going to use humans in its arguments and disagreements. Hae-il spent his time in communication. He received messages from scientists around the galaxy. Some praised him for bringing the truth forward. Some criticized him for abandoning his post and his responsibilities. The collective union sent official messages demanding that he turn himself in. They promised him that if he gave himself up, he would be tried fairly. But everyone knew this was a lie. Everyone knew that he would be executed or imprisoned forever. One day, a message came from Earth itself. It was the first official communication from the planet since humans had become known to the galaxy. The message was written in English and in many other languages. "We are humans from Earth," it said. "We have received the information about our brothers and sisters in the galaxy. We have received the information about Min-Ah and Dawoon. We are proud of them. They have shown the galaxy what humans truly are. We welcome peaceful contact with all beings who wish to understand us better." This message changed everything. Earth was no longer a silent, unknown planet. Earth was a civilization with a voice. Earth was a place with billions of humans. Earth was a power that the galaxy could not ignore. Minna read this message and felt tears in her eyes. She had come to the galaxy alone, expecting to work as an ordinary person in an ordinary job. Instead, she had become a representative of an entire world. She had become a symbol of something much larger than herself. Dawoon read the message and felt pride. He felt hope. He felt like maybe, just maybe, he had done something important. He had stepped on Minna's foot by accident. Minna had lifted him in anger. The scanners had marked him as unsafe. And somehow, all of this had changed the galaxy. Hae-il read the message and felt something peaceful inside him. He had given up everything. He had lost his career, his home, his safety. But he had told the truth. And the truth was more powerful than anything else. The galaxy was beginning to understand that the universe was far more vast and far more varied than it had ever believed. The galaxy was beginning to understand that strength came in many forms. The galaxy was beginning to understand that humans were not a threat. Humans were simply different. And different, it turned out, was enough to change everything.